Hey man, what's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is, and you are tuned into Conversations with Q, where real stories meet real insights. I'm your host, your boy Nephew Q, and this is the place where I break down life's most talked about moments, from sports and entertainment to relationships to parenting to co-parenting, society, culture, and everything in between. Whether I'm diving into the trendy topics, unpacking life's toughest lessons, I keep it real, raw, and relatable. So sit back, relax, get you a drink, and let's tap into the conversation that got everybody talking today. Welcome to Conversations with Q. Now, today's episode, I want to give you some behind the scenes pictures and videos of my time shooting the episode for the true crime series Philly Homicide on the Oxygen Network. But before I get into all of that, I did do a previous episode about my experience in acting. It's I already put that episode out. That was back in July when I did that. I go over everything as far as what I was feeling, what I was going through, how I was acting. So if you want to know how I felt and my experience actually acting, make sure you go check out that episode. But today's episode, I'm going to be giving you some behind the scenes pictures and videos of the episode that I was in that just released on November the 2nd on the Oxygen Network of the true crime series Philly Homicide. Also, if you're listening to this episode on all major podcast streaming platforms like Apple, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, it won't do you any justice. So make sure you go over to the YouTube channel and watch the episode on Conversations with Q so you can see the pictures and the videos of the breakdown that I'm giving. Because if you don't get me wrong, I'm grateful and appreciative of the fact that you're listening to this on whatever podcast streaming platform that you're listening to this on, but it doesn't do you any justice because you won't be able to see the pictures and the videos that I'm talking about. So go on over to Conversations with Q, subscribe, and watch my breakdown of the behind the scenes footage that I'm about to give you of my time on the TV show, true crime series show, Philly Homicide on the Oxygen Network. Now, and I know I got some haters out there who are watching this shit, because we all got haters who was like, well, Quinn ain't really do no acting. Man, fuck y'all. I did some true crime reenactment. It meant something to me. I thought it was dope. I thought I had a great time doing it. I had a fun time doing it. What I was doing was called being an extra. It's called being a talent, really, but it's called being an extra. But we're not really acting because we really didn't have any lines to say per se. So it's not necessarily quote unquote acting. You're just reenacting the events that took place, and you really don't have any scene. You don't really have any words or lines to say. So you're not really acting. You're just what's called an extra. But fuck that. I had a great time. I'm a fucking actor. I had a great time doing some true crime reenacting. So if you a hater out there and you're like, oh man, Quentin ain't doing nothing for real. He ain't really acting for real, man. Fuck y'all. I had a great time. And plus, also, this might open us for other doors and opportunities, not just for me, but for Lexington, Kentucky in general, because Lex Studios is doing some great things and trying to bring bigger budget shows and movies to not just Lexington, but surrounding counties and Kentucky as well, because they have a great tax incentive for movie studios to come make movies or come make TV shows here. And I'm not going to beat y'all head in and bore y'all with all the, mumbo jumbo nerd talk and accountant talk of tax incentives and why that's great and why Kentucky might be on the uptick as far as the film industry is concerned, as far as people coming here to create and make movies and make projects and things of that nature. But be on the lookout for Lexington and Kentucky starting to become a little hotbed of places to film. But anyways, I had a fun time doing my true crime reenacting situation. But let's get into the behind the scenes. Now, in the first one of the first scenes of the episode, if you've seen the episode, is this right here. And this scene was actually filmed in Versailles, Kentucky, Woodford County. We shot this on a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, and we were actually filming all day long in Versailles. We got there around 1 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock, something like that. And I didn't finish wrapping up my scene till 11 o'clock. We had a base location at this restaurant, and I'm sorry, please forgive me for not remembering what the restaurant name is. Forgive my head and not my heart. I can't remember what the restaurant name is. But that was our base location where we had all of our equipment, all of our wardrobe. Everything was set up at this base location at this restaurant in Versailles. It was downtown Versailles in Woodford County. And it was a great restaurant. We had catered food. It was amazing. I love the food. I'm also show you some behind the scene pictures of the actual base camp or the restaurant that we were at. But anyways, this shot right here was filmed in front of the library downtown in Versailles in Woodford County. Like I mentioned, we were there pretty much shooting all day long. We were up and down Main Street, I want to say, in Versailles, where a lot of the scenes were being shot. Now, I was only involved in the last scene of the day. The rest of the day, I wasn't involved. So from 1 o'clock till about 10:45, 10:50, I didn't have shit to do because I had no scenes to film. So I was just chilling pretty much all day long until 10:50, 10:45 ish, when it was my time to shoot my scene. But anyways, this scene was shot in Versailles, Woodford County, Kentucky, and this is the actual behind the scenes of that actual clip that I just showed. You see the two detectives, you see the forensics officer, you see not the director, you see the photographer right there. I think his name is Jose. Good guy, nice guy. So this was behind the scenes picture of that actual scene that I just showed you guys. And this was at night in Woodford County or Versailles. And the dope thing about this picture is just dope within itself. But a couple of reasons why this picture was dope. One of them is it was dope to see the people driving up and down the streets in Versailles and having them rubberneck to try to figure out what was going on and see. So it was kind of cool to sit, it was just kind of cool to sit back and see people, driving up and down the street and trying to figure out what we was doing. Another dope thing about this, another dope experience is that across the street, you can't tell in this picture, but across the street, there were some people who were sitting down and actually watching us film what we were doing. And we were filming. If you've ever been to downtown Versailles, that library that we were at, right across the street from it was like this bed and breakfast hotel or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like some kind of hotel. And you could look up and you could see people out looking out their windows and looking down to watch us film what we were doing. So that was kind of cool to see all of the eyes paying attention to us and what we were doing and what we were filming. And also, that next day I was filming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't know how long everybody else was filming, but I was filming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And obviously Sunday was my last day of filming. And to that Monday, I was on Facebook and I seen somebody had reposted a story, reposted a post about somebody trying to figure out what the hell was going on in Versailles. They was basically the post was alluding to like, hey, what's going on Versailles? They shooting something, they're recording something, they're filming something, blah, blah, blah. And so the whole conversation, I couldn't really comment or say anything. Not that I knew these people, but it was just dope to see all these people trying to figure out what the hell was going on in Versailles. And I was right there in it and I couldn't say anything because when you're a part of an episode, you can't say anything, or a movie, you can't say anything until it's actually made and gone into production and actually came out. And then you can actually talk about what took place and show behind the scenes footage and things of that nature. But leading up to it, you can't say anything about the episode that you're in. But my first time acting experiences, you can go check that episode out where I divulge how I was feeling in my experiences while acting for the first time and things that I was going through. And I actually take you day by day, step by step of what I was going through my first time acting. Also in this clip, we had a off-duty police officer come and police the set just to make sure everything, we're not bothered and nobody's, coming over to do anything or say anything to us or things of that nature. And the off-duty police officer just happened to be, the off-duty police officer was the brother or the brother-in-law of one of the crew members. So he came down and helped us out. And also he wanted to because we were using a prop gun. It was real, but it was a prop gun. And he just wanted to also make sure that everything was, fine. Everything was cool. Nobody, got alarmed that they seen me with this gun holding it to the back of this woman's head and things of that nature. Like if you watch the episode, like you've seen me do. And also Bruno is the director. Bruno is this 6'6" Croatian, or maybe 6'5". We kind of, but anyways, he's this 6'5" Croatian white guy. And I have mad respect for Bruno for so many different reasons. But one of the reasons why I have respect for Bruno is before I even shot my scene, Bruno pulled me to the side, and I don't know if he even remembers this, but he pulled me to the side and he was like, "Hey, we know where we're at." And I know what he meant by that. And he knew that I know what he meant by that. Meaning that, hey, you're 6 foot, you're a big black guy, you got this gun, you're going to be pointed to the back of this white woman's head. You know, we want to make sure that you're safe and everybody else on set is safe. So that's why we have the police officer, or that's part of the reason why we have the police officers here. And so Bruno wanted to make sure everybody on set was protected and safe and made to feel safe and comfortable. But he especially, I'm going to assume, he especially wanted to make sure I felt comfortable on set with this gun, not knowing and feeling like nothing's going to happen to me. I'm not going to get arrested or nobody's going to call the police on me or nothing crazy is going to, take place or anything like that. So Bruno pulled me to the side and was like, "Hey, we know where we're at." And by him saying that to me, it really meant a lot. It really did mean a lot for him giving me that, "Hey, you all right, Quentin. We know where we're at. We know the temperature. We know what's going on. Not to say Kentucky's racist, but we know there's some pockets of racism in Kentucky. So we just want to make sure that, Quentin, you protected too." So Bruno got my respect for doing that. And this right here was dope because you can see all of it takes to shoot a scene for a show. And this was just on a small scale. Now, I'm not trying to diminish anything that we did. When I say small scale, I mean, it's not a big production TV show like you would see in Power or Snowfall or All American or Seinfeld or Friends or Living Single, Martin, Fresh Prince, etc., etc., etc. Like, on those type of TV shows and even true crime documentaries like First 48. Like, I'm pretty sure First 48 has a huge film crew. But for this, it was dope because even on this small scale of a show that we're doing, you see how much it takes and how much goes into it. If you rewind this back and you look at the video, you see all of them people, all of the film, all of the crew film, what it takes to, and all the equipment that it takes to film something like this. And I don't know if the white van was in the shot, but you can see the white van in the background. It has all of this equipment inside the white van. So it just made me feel like, damn, this was just a small scale. And I can only imagine with a bigger budget what it would look like for a TV show or a crime series or whatever the case may be. So it was really dope to see all that it takes to film something like this. Excuse me. And this shot right here, this was the actual library that we were shooting at downtown Versailles. Like I mentioned, they were up and down the downtown Versailles filming scenes. Now, none of the scenes I was involved in, but they were up and down the street filming scenes. I didn't see none of the scenes that they were filming. I didn't see none of them get used for this episode. But again, that's a part of filming, is that a lot of this shit that you filming, a lot of it won't see the light of day, but they want to have it just in case because you just never fucking know. But a lot of the scenes that they were shooting in Versailles, they didn't use. And like I mentioned earlier, I was free. I didn't have any scenes to shoot from 1 o'clock to about 10:45. So I was just watching them shooting their scenes and things of that nature and just watching how everything was being put together. But this shot was the actual library that we were shooting in front of in downtown Versailles. And this is the scene. This was my scene right here. This was my motherfucking scene. And this is where we were downtown Versailles in front of the library, obviously. And all of the things that I was mentioning before about the gun and what Bruno told me and things of that nature all came to a culmination with this shot. And this is the shot that I shot about 10:45, 10:50. We shot this scene about 5 to 6 times from a couple of different angles. Another thing that a lot of people don't know, might not know about, is that when I found this out, that when you're shooting something, like when you watch a movie and you see how the movie goes from start to finish, it's not always shot in chronological order. Bruno set me down and told me why. And that was fucking 3-4 months ago, so I can't remember exactly why, but he explained it to me why they jump all over the place and they don't shoot it how it actually shows on the show or the movie. It's not like that. And also, with this scene, they shot it 5 or 6 times because when you're doing a show, you only have a certain amount of time to shoot a scene, right? Or a movie. So one scene might require 15 minutes of shooting. Another scene might require just 5 minutes. Another scene might require an hour. Another scene might require 2 hours. And so that's why you see movies take 6 months of acting and then it may take a year to get made because there's so much that goes into it as far as how much time they're shooting on the scene, how much time they're spending on the scene, or reshoots, or things of that nature. So I actually got a taste to see what it was like as far as the storyboard is concerned and why, because I was seeing, all right, come on, Bruno, we got 5 minutes left in this scene right here. Or come on, Bruno, we got time for one more shot. Or come on, Bruno, we got to move it along. So I was like, oh, so you can't just sit at a scene and shoot this as many times as you fucking want to. No, you have a certain amount of time that you have to shoot a scene and then you have to move on. So I also learned that. And also shout out to my guy G. He's one of the crew members. He took a picture of this actual scene that we were shooting right here. Let me go to it real quick. This is the picture that G took for me of that scene we were shooting. I thought this was just so dope of me, not necessarily shooting her in the back of the head, but actually performing that scene. And G took a picture of me performing this scene. I thought this picture was a dope ass picture of me, portraying the killer about to shoot her in the back of the head during this scene. So we're moving on. This shot right here was actually my very first day. This was Friday. This was filmed Friday of shooting. This was at an Airbnb off of Versailles Road. We were shooting on location. It was hot as fuck. This was actually my very, very first day of shooting on that Friday. I got there. I only shot 2 scenes. And when I got there and I shot my 2 scenes, I was like, damn, is this what acting is like? Like, damn, I shoot my shit and I'm out. Not knowing that the Saturday I would be shooting a lot more. But for that Friday, they only needed me for 2 scenes, which I'm about to show you real quick. They rented an Airbnb off of Versailles Road. This was actually the base camp. Inside that house is where wardrobe, trust me. They keep snacks on deck. Like whatever snack you want, they got it on deck. They keep snacks. They keep Red Bulls on deck, energy drinks on deck, but they do keep the snacks, cakes, and goodies on deck. And they was set up inside this house on this base location of our location for that Friday. Like I said, I only shot 2 scenes on Friday, and those 2 scenes actually did make it into the actual episode. And this was in front of the Airbnb that we were at. If you look closely, you can actually see the 2 officers in this shot that were actually in the scene that I was in. You can see the young lady, and then you can also see G is the other police officer, the one who took the picture of me shooting the gun. G was actually one of the police officers in this picture. But this is actually in front of the house of the Airbnb that they rented out. This was the shot that you see me coming out, which I'm already showed a clip right here of me coming out of the actual house. That's the guy, Juan Covington, of who I was actually portraying for this. But that's me coming out of the Airbnb house. That's my guy G stopping me at the sidewalk right there. That's him putting the handcuffs on me. Now, G's a cool ass guy. Shout out to G, man. G's a good guy. He's, like I said, man, he's a good ass dude from Georgetown. But in this scene that we were shooting, we shot this scene maybe 6 or 7 times from different angles and everything like that. But the what was frustrating about this scene for me is that G kept slapping the damn handcuffs on my wrist. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever had real handcuffs put on your wrist, not the little ones you can buy from Walmart and shit like that. But them motherfuckers hurt. And he kept slapping it down, slapping it down, slapping it down. And finally, Bruno, the director, was like, hey, can we not slap him on his wrist? Can we just like put him on his wrist and just like put him on? Well, the problem with that is that I'm put my wrist up there. I have this big ass, wide ass wrist. And so when he was putting the handcuffs on, even when he was putting them on gently, it was still hurting my damn wrist because it was too damn tight. So whenever we would shoot the scene, and in the scene, he would put the handcuffs on me, and then he would like walk me out of the scene as if he was walking me to the police cruiser, right? And every time we would shoot the scene, and he would walk me out of the scene, and I would walk like I was pretending to walk to the police cruiser, like this, like the picture right here, right? So in this, he would walk me out as if we was walking me to the police cruiser. So I was walking out of the shot. When I walked out of the shot, those handcuffs were so damn tight that it was literally making me nauseous to the point where I was almost wanting to throw up. Keep in mind, this was also in the summertime too, so it was hot as fuck outside. So I'm sitting here sweating, I'm nauseous, the handcuffs, and it's behind my back, so ain't shit I could do. So I'm just sitting here just like, oh man, can they hurry up? My goodness, boy, they hurry up, get this scene over with so they can take these handcuffs. So I could not wait for the scene to be over with so they could take the fucking handcuffs off of me. And lo and behold, it ended up putting marks on my wrist. I ended up getting bruises on my wrist over the weekend. And Bruno the next day had to tell people, because I still had to wear handcuffs in the interrogation scene, like, hey, can we like lightly put the handcuffs on Quentin's wrist, because you know, you guys are starting to bruise him up a little bit. So, and again, G didn't mean to, like, he wasn't trying to do that shit. It's just the handcuffs was small, and you know, he was just trying to, you know, put them on me. So he didn't know that he was actually doing that. And on top of that, I wasn't trying to, it was my first day of filming. I wasn't trying to be out there on no, you know, no bitch shit and be like, oh, you're hurting my wrist. How can you not do? So I was trying to suck it up and be like, nah, man, Q, be a team player. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Because if you start complaining, they gonna think you a punk or something. Like, they gonna think you soft. So no, just grin and bear it, bro. Just grin and bear it. So I didn't say nothing about it being too tight, hurting until the next day. Now, and I mentioned Bruno. I was like, hey, man. And I showed him my wrist. I was like, hey, you think they can put the handcuffs on a little bit tighter? So that's when he made, when we shot the interrogation scene, like, hey, can we put him on a little, you know, not as tight on Quentin, because we starting to bruise my guy up a little bit. So yeah, so G, you know, bruised my wrist up, trying to put the handcuffs on. So that I was dealing with that the whole weekend. That shit hurt like hell. Which here's the interrogation scene. One of my favorite. This is actually one of my favorite scenes because I'm doing a little acting now. This was shot on Saturday, I believe, and Bruno had pulled me to the side. Again, Bruno's a great guy. Again, I detail all of my acting experiences in my previous episode that I did way back in July, labeled my first experience, my first time acting, my first experience acting, where I detailed all the emotions and the feelings and actually go through step by step what Bruno was telling me to do in this scene. So if you want to know exactly what I'm saying and what I'm doing, go back and listen to that episode after you listen to and watch this, after you watch this episode. But anyways, Bruno had pulled me to the side and was like, hey, today we're gonna be filming one of the most important parts of the episode, which is the interrogation scene. I'm gonna have you do a little acting, etc., etc. So when he told me I was gonna be doing a little acting, I was like, okay, I don't know what to do now. Like, so basically, Bruno would be feeding me lines of what to say, because I'm assuming in the actual guy's interrogation tapes, he had a little bit more emotion of what he was doing or what he was saying. And so Bruno, the director, wanted me to display and show that same type of emotion, or just show some emotion, period. And like I said in that previous episode that you can go back and listen to, you can hear, I detail exactly what I was saying and what Bruno was wanting me to say. But I think this was so dope, and I'm glad it actually made it into the episode of me actually showing some emotion and actually doing a little bit of acting in this clip right here. So I'm so glad that they actually put that in there, because that interrogation scene, we filmed that on Saturday, and it felt like we filmed that scene for like 2 to 4 hours, it felt like. And again, like I said earlier, I can understand now why it takes so long to make movies, because you could shoot one scene, and one scene could literally take all day because you're shooting it from so many different angles. And like in this interrogation scene, it was so pivotal and so important to the story that they had to shoot it from so many different angles. They were shooting from here, like literally whatever angle they could shoot it from, they were fucking shooting it from that angle, because it was so pivotal for them to capture every single angle of this interrogation scene, because it was so important. And I think it was dope that Bruno allowed me the opportunity to do some physical acting, not necessarily, you know, verbal acting, but he let me do some physical acting and really show a little bit of emotion in that scene. And this right here is one of my favorite pictures because I got the crazy eyes. And the reason why I got the crazy eyes is that Bruno wanted me to display and show, that I was out of it, that I really didn't understand what I was doing, and I, was not myself, and I was out of body experience because this guy was schizophrenic, I believe, and Bruno wanted me to display that with my eyes. Now, when Bruno wanted me to display that with my eyes, I didn't know if it was gonna make it or not because I was like, it's reenactment. Like my face is probably gonna be blurred, so they won't be able to see my eyes anyways. But then when he told me to act with my eyes, I was like, oh shit, they might actually show a brother's face on this motherfucker. So this picture right here, that's why you see that's why my eyes is like this, because I was doing the crazy eyes. I was acting with my eyes because Bruno wanted me to display and show some emotion with my eyes for this scene. And it didn't make it, obviously, but it was one of my favorite pictures. And this is also a dope ass picture because it gives you that old time detective interrogation feel. You got the smoke coming up, and you got me, you got the detective, you got the camera right there. I think this was a dope behind the scenes picture. And then right here, that's my guy Bruno. Bottom right hand side, that's my guy Bruno. That's the director. He's a really, really great guy. And in this scene, in the episode, you see the detective take the laptop and like turn it around and actually show the surveillance footage of what I had actually done. And Bruno in this picture was actually giving direction on how he wanted us, or wanted the detective to turn the laptop around and turn it on, so therefore he could hit it and get out of the way as quick as possible. And again, I display all of this in the previous episode that I did, my first experience acting. You can go listen to that. But this picture is dope because it encompasses everything. You see Bruno giving direction. You see me trying to gather my thoughts and get myself together as he's talking to the two detectives and what he's wanting from them and what he wants them to do in this particular scene. And Bruno, like I said, man, he's a great guy. So that picture's a dope. And also I like the lighting coming down on me in this picture as well. Another crazy eyes picture. Bruno wanted me again to act with my eyes again. Like I said, we shot this interrogation scene so many angles, so many different ways, so many different times. And each time we shot this, I got more and more into the character, right? And I display everything that I'm talking about in the other episode. I know y'all gonna get tired of like, damn, I keep saying the other episode because you're gonna go back and listen to that shit because it's gonna all tie in together. But again, Bruno wanted me to do the crazy eyes thing and really get into the character. And the dope thing about this interrogation scene is the two detectives that I was working with, my scene partners, after one of the scenes of when I was was displaying emotion and showing emotion, like, she made me do this. She made me do this. Excuse me. After Bruno yelled cut, one of the shots, one of the guys was like, man, have you ever acted before? And I was like, no, man, this is my first time. He's like, man, that was good. He's like, man, I thought that you maybe had acted before somewhere. And I was like, nah, bro, this is my first time acting or doing any fucking thing. So the fact that the people that I was in the scene with actually thought I was a trained or professional or have acted before lets me know that I was actually doing my motherfucking thing. And again, if you go back and listen to that episode, I explained what got me in that mode to actually just start acting and say, fuck it. But this right here is when I was trying to do the crazy eyes again for Bruno. And right here, this is I'm pretty sure this is probably in between takes. Bruno was giving us some direction. As you can see, I'm looking over to the side. The other detective is looking over. So I'm pretty sure Bruno was probably over there giving us some direction of how he wanted us to portray this next scene that we were going to shoot. And this is the jumpsuit interrogation. So I'm already locked up. And what's great about this scene is coming up, you see my mouth moving. And you see a close-up of my motherfucking face in my mouth. And Bruno told me, like, hey, we're going to get some close-up shots of your mouth. So I'm going to say the lines to you, and I want you to, just to mouth it. But when you mouth it, don't speak with your full mouth, like, because I'm assuming, again, in the interrogation tapes, he didn't talk, he talked like this, he was So whenever he would feed me my lines and I would talk, he would say tighter, meaning get my lips tighter. He would say tighter, tighter. So he wanted me to barely even type, like move my lips. But then it also raised another question, like, hold on, they zooming in on my mouth. So does that mean that my face is like, how are we doing this to where, so two things had happened to where I'm like, oh shit, my face might be seen. So the fact that they didn't blur and you could actually see like from the nose down, I was so fucking geeked when I said that, because I was like, that's fucking me right there. Like, if you know me, that's me right there. And the fact that and they zoomed in, I mean, when Bruno said they was gonna get a close up of every angle on my, I mean, they was here, they was here, they was here. I mean, it felt like they was on top of my damn lip, like they was zooming in from every fucking word just to make sure they could try to get the best tight shot of my lips of what you just seen right there. But I thought that was dope that they actually made it into the actual episode of a clear, concise shot of my bottom part of my face. It wasn't blurred or nothing like that. So I was like, yeah, that's me right there. That's me. So I thought that was dope. And then here's a picture of me, before the scene, getting ready, got my orange jumpsuit on, getting ready to go to do my interrogation scene. And also with that orange jumpsuit on, I walk into the courtroom with that orange jumpsuit on. Let me go back to that orange jumpsuit real quick. That orange jumpsuit, you can see in that episode where I walk into the courtroom with that orange jumpsuit on too. And that was the only scene that we shot in that courtroom, because we didn't do any courtroom scenes. They just wanted to get a shot of me walking into the courtroom. And that was basically pretty much it. So that little 2-second clip that you seen in the episode of me walking into the courtroom, that was it. Like that was the only time we shot that. We shot that maybe 2 or 3 times. And that was it, and we were done. We were moving on. But this is the bus scene. I'm glad Diddy's not out to see this, because you get to see my yams all up close and personal. They all up in my yams, no Diddy. But this was the bus scene. We shot this at Lextran on Sunday morning, and it was shot inside of a wash station or a bus garage or something. So the bus was in there just by itself. And in this clip, if you look at the passengers on the bus, it's actually the crew or the film members just sitting on the bus, that they needed some people to sit on the bus just to give it the aesthetic feel of other people being on the bus, because it wouldn't be realistic. Well, they didn't think it would be realistic if it was just me, her, and I on the bus. I thought they were going to use the shot of me sitting like maybe a couple seats behind her, and she was like sitting in front of me. I thought they were going to use that shot, but they didn't. They just used the shot of me walking on to the bus, which is great. I mean, I thought that was a great shot of me walking into the bus, but I thought they were going to use the other shot of me sitting behind her on the bus as well. And again, like I said, shout out to my boy Ike Barron. He came by. He's actually the supervisor or the manager at Lextran, and he knew what we was doing. And I told him to come on by. Now, he couldn't actually come on set to see what we were doing, but he wanted to come by and see what his homeboy was up to. And I was filling him in and everything. And he thought it was dope that what we was doing. And so he came by and he seen the set, but he didn't actually see what we were doing and what were going on, because we were inside of the bus garage or the bus station or whatever. And he couldn't go in there. But he stopped by to holler at your boy to see what we said he was doing. So shout out to Ike Barron. Appreciate you for stopping by and seeing what we was doing and checking in on things. But and even he said, he was like, when I told him that I was at the, at Lextran, because he works there, he was like, man, they came to my job and they was asking if they could borrow a bus and blah, blah, blah. So he gave me another backstory on how we even got to that part. So anyways, that was the bus scene. And this was outside of the bus. You can see I got the green vest on. We all had to wear the green vest to let people know that, the reflective vest, to let people know that we were actually, on set and things of that nature, so people wouldn't think that we was just pedestrians just walking around back there or things of that nature. And I don't know what the fuck I was doing in this picture. I don't know if I was trying to get my light skinned on, if I was doing my Zoolander, because I have a hat on, so obviously the sun's not in my damn eyes, and it's a fucking selfie, so I don't know why my eyes was closed to begin with. But anyways, this was before I was getting ready to shoot my bus scene and stalk the young lady before I followed her off the bus and ultimately killed her. But this picture, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. And the crazy, another story behind all of this is that on my first day of filming, my hair was a little longer. And I don't know if I said this earlier, but after the first day of filming, Bruno was like, hey man, the guy had a lower cut. Would it be possible for you to cut your hair down a little bit? And I was like, yeah, I'll cut it down. He's like, don't go crazy or nothing, but just cut it down just a little bit to where it mirrors what the guy looks like. And I was like, all right, cool, fine. I ain't got no problem with that. So I actually ended up getting a little haircut, just, a little bit off the top, things of that nature. But this picture here, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. This is actually inside of the bus garage or the wash station or whatever the case may be. As you can tell, the other film members had the green reflective vest on again because, like I said, we had to wear them just to make sure that people knew who we were. And this was the film crew filming the bus scene that we were doing. We filmed the bus scene for maybe about 2 or 3 hours. I think we got out there at about 11 o'clock and we were done about I say we got out there about 10 o'clock. We were done about 12 and then we left and went to Versailles. But anyways, that's behind the scenes of the bus station. And this right here was the base camp of what I was talking about. The restaurant in Versailles. Again, I'm so sorry that I cannot remember the name of the restaurant. Lovely people. But this was shot at the restaurant of the base camp that we were at. So we shot a scene inside of the restaurant where we were actually set up at. And this was just the detectives just, going around and asking people, what they seen and things of that nature. And this is the behind the scenes of that actual scene that they were shooting of what I just showed inside that restaurant. Now, I know people see that naked mannequin over there like, what the hell is a mannequin doing over? Again, like I said, that restaurant was our base camp. So all of our equipment, wardrobe, everything was inside of this restaurant because we could just go down to the restaurant and get it and bring it back. And so we were filming inside this restaurant, this scene right here. And, bringing behind the curtain even more, the victim, when we very first started filming, she was actually underneath the sheet, right? But obviously we were filming that scene for so many hours, they didn't want her on that concrete that long. So they would take that mannequin that you see over there and put it underneath the sheet and just let that be the dead body. So that's why the mannequin was there. That's why you see the naked mannequin sitting over in the corner just chilling, because it was used as a prop for the dead body. Now, again, like I said, the lady portrayed the dead body for a little bit, and then they brought her out and then put the mannequin underneath. So that's why you see that mannequin. And again, that was our base camp for everything that we needed to be there.
I'm on break right now.
And this was on Saturday, I believe, in between
10 o'clock was my call time. I didn't start shooting my scenes until about 12:30ish. That's when I started shooting my stuff. I'm in the talent waiting area right now. About the other talent is shooting their scenes for stuff. I've been here dozing off. I've been here sleep, everything. Tired.
So that was a clip of me on Saturday that I had taken in between the interrogation scenes and things of that nature. Like I said, the call time was 10 o'clock for that Saturday. Again, I had a dope experience. I had a dope time. It was great. The cast, the crew, everybody involved, they were so welcoming, so warming. Nobody treated me like, I was less than. And again, I know it's just some reenactment. It's not quote unquote real acting, but to me it was real acting because I got to do something that a lot of people around Lexington don't get to do. I haven't got to do. And hopefully with this opportunity, with this Lex Studios, maybe more opportunities will come for people around Lexington to not only just do reenacting, but do some actual acting as well. But anyways, with the tax incentive, again, I'm not getting into all that nerd stuff, but that was my behind the scenes pictures and videos of my episode of a true crime series, Philly Homicide, that's on Oxygen Network. You can download the app and you can check out the episode on there. Also, if you have a business that you want to have advertised on Conversations with Q, or you want to buy some advertisement space, or you want to sponsor a show, you want to sponsor a segment, hit me up at conversationswithq22@gmail.com. I have a great podcast media packet that I will send to you that you can look over and go over. We can conduct some stuff and we can get your business advertised on Conversations with Q. We can get you sponsored on Conversations with Q as well. But again, I had a great dope time filming this. Like I said, my kids, man, You know, they thought it was cool in the summertime when I was filming it, but now they're like, oh yeah, that's cool, Dad. You know, that's all right. But I thought it was a dope experience, man. Again, when I watched this on when I seen it and I watched it, I was so ecstatic. I was so elated. I was so thrilled, adulated, whatever verb, adjective you want to use, man. I was that. I was that. And I'm still proud of myself for doing this. I'm proud of myself for actually being involved in these projects. I think it's dope. And I think it's dope that I was a part of something that's going to be everywhere and anywhere. And like I said, somebody in Texas who don't know me is watching that, episode and don't know me, but my family and friends who know me, they know that I'm a part of that episode and they know that I'm on there. But anyways, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel Conversations with Q. Also, subscribe and download to the podcast Conversations with Q on all major podcast streaming platforms. Also, leave me a star and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts and let me know what you think about the podcast. Also, leave a comment underneath this behind the scenes video or go watch some of my other previous videos and let me know what you think about those as well. I'm getting ready to get on the bat here. I've taken way too much of your time already, and as always, treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. I'm about this thing, y'all. Peace.